This is World Culture Interviewing. Let's discover the difference together. I'm Jessie. Ghana is a country in West Africa. Ghana's economy is more developed in West Africa. We will talk about culture or custom in Ghana today. We invite a guest who is handsome and intelligent guy. Welcome, Benson. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Kambi Benson works at Ghana Education Service and attended Valley View University and graduated with Bachelor of Education Mathematics. A strong passion for mathematics that presents a good mind bending challenge with numbers and help us to understand the world, and maths help us to understand numbers, and nothing can be proven without evidence. Thank you.
We're at the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology talking about the golden stool. We're actually going to be looking at several different objects to make sense of this very important object that we don't have in a collection. It still exists in the Ashanti Nation in Ghana.
It was incredibly important to the Ashanti people that that object remained in their possession, but that's a story we'll come back to. Let's talk about its origin.
In the early 1700s, a man named Osei Tutu, an important king, was able to unify all the surrounding lands.
He created the nation of the Ashanti people.
The golden stool falls from the sky and lands in the lap of Osei Tutu.
So this is a miracle.
Absolutely. And this is a wooden stool covered in gold, which was said to have been made in the heavens, said to be the soul of the Ashanti Nation. So it takes on the essence of the entire group in the same way that we'll see a man's stool or a woman's stool can take on the essence of that person.
So in a way, the stool is more important than any single king of the Ashanti people.
It is far more sacred than the Ashanti Hini himself. And in fact, the golden stool is always given its own stool or its own chair on which to sit next to the Ashanti Hini, like we see in this picture.
This is an area that is rich in gold, and the gold comes to symbolize royalty for the Ashanti people.
They were in charge of the gold trade through North Africa. This was long before Europeans were even there. But also gold is the color of royalty. So whether it's gold in the form of a textile color or it's the material of gold, it was reserved for royal use.
So let's look at the objects in this case that relate to the trading of gold.
We have a scale which shows how gold would have been weighed, and it would have been weighed with brass.
So you would use these on one side of a scale and measure out the gold on the other so that you knew you were measuring the accurate amount of gold.
What we find is a whole host of brass weights fashioned into very elaborate figures that depict almost every activity in every part of daily life.
So it's a really wonderful way to learn about the Ashanti people. We see two here that show images of the Ashanti king.
Both of these depict a group of figures gathered around a central umbrella. That umbrella is really important because underneath it we know is the Ashanti Hini, or an important chief.
So the umbrella was a way that you could identify the king in a crowd.
The king would also be wearing sandals, and we have a brass weight of just sandals depicted. And in that sense, we understand that the king is divine. In other words, he is seen as an intermediary between the everyday lives of his people and the supernatural realm. He's there to harness the good powers of the supernatural to help his people.
He's between the heavens, below the umbrella, but he's above the earth, symbolized by the sandals that he wears.
So he's always sandwiched between the two.
In one of these gold weights, we see the king surrounded by his retinue under an umbrella, being carried in a palanquin.
And surrounding him are his sword bearers. Swords are very important symbols of rule, and they would have had gold handles.
And then we see next to it another image of the king, this time with his wife, with the queen.
Could be the queen mother, it could be his wife. There's an umbrella, and then two sword bearers in front of him. We also have other brass weights that just depict one figure, and these relate to particular proverbs or stories about virtues. And here we get at this important part about Ashanti modes of communication. That is that you don't speak directly if you can, you let art speak for you.
And you often speak in proverbs.
Yeah, so each one of these have messages. If you understand this language, if you can decode it, you can know what the messages are.
So one of the ones in the case shows two crocodiles sharing one stomach.
And this double-headed crocodile has to do with the idea of family sharing a stomach. In other words, your connection, your essence, your belly is connected to your family. That's who nurtures you. So if you go off on your own, you're really not going to get very far in life.
And then we have a goat.
Or a ram with these curved horns. And one proverb states that rams move back before they charge. So the idea is that you have thoughtful contemplation, you move away from what you're about to do to make sure it's the right path.
So we're looking at these gold weights, and that brings us to another important part of the history of the Ashanti people, the continuing involvement of the British.
The British, certainly since the early 19th century, were interested in securing a way to control gold in this area. And they named this area the Gold Coast. The Ashanti obviously were not wanting to give up their control of this precious material, which had this royal significance.
And in 1874, the British destroyed the Ashanti capital, took lots back to England. Much of it remains in the British Museum collection today.
And one of the objects, of course, that they really wanted to get their hands on was the golden stool. They first exiled Prempeh I, that was the Ashanti in the late 1800s.
The Ashanti people hid the golden stool.
The golden stool, which was obviously very important, in fact more sacred than Prempeh I himself, was in danger, and the British really tried hard to hunt it down.
The British governor said, and I'm reading here from a record of what happened, he said, "Where is the golden stool? I am the representative of the paramount power. Why have you relegated me to this ordinary chair? Why did you not take the opportunity of my coming to bring the golden stool for me to sit upon?"
This was so offensive to the people of Ghana that a foreigner would come and demand their most precious and sacred object to sit on. This is not a stool anyone was allowed to sit on. In fact, it sat on its own stool. So Ya Asantewa, a queen mother, assembled all the soldiers she could find to fight against the British.
Now, the Ashanti people were defeated, but the stool remained hidden.
The Ashanti were pretty successful in that they were allowed some autonomy, and by the 1920s, the British even agreed to allow Prempeh I to return, and there was a promise made that the golden stool would not be taken, and the golden stool was allowed to come out of hiding. Men and women are gifted stools by their parents when they come of age, and the idea of stools is really central not just to kingship, but to everyday people. And this brass weight in this case is a replica of what a man or woman would sit on, but made of wood. So a man and woman's everyday stool used for things like sitting and socializing, sitting and eating, sitting and working. It sounds very ordinary to us, but stools that one uses often take on their sunsum. Sunsum is an Ashanti concept or traditional idea that your energy, it's like an aura that touches the things that you use a lot. So in order to keep your sunsum intact, when you leave the room, traditionally you would tip over your stool so that no one else would sit on it. They would know that that was not intended for you. In that sense, the golden stool is also kept turned on its side, as we see in this photograph.
So the gold weight tells us something about the importance of stools in the Ashanti culture, but also about a personal energy that over the course of our lives, the objects that we use become imbued with.
That helps us to understand why the Ashanti people say the golden stool is the soul of the Ashanti nation.
Stone is a symbol of power in Ghana. Even stones are given as a marriage gift by groom to bride. I will verify from you today.
A stool is used as a symbol of chieftaincy and seen as a symbol of royalty, custom, and traditions. Kings and queens of Ashanti and other tribes have a traditional stool as a seat of authority by the royal house. The most important and secret Ashanti stool is the golden stool, which represents the authority of the Asante king, enshrines the soul of the nation, and symbolizes the kingdom's unity. Ashanti stool or the golden stool is locally known as Sikaja Kofi. Golden stool is the royal and divine throne of the kings of the Ashanti people. It is never true. Stools are presented as a gift from groom to bride, as it was in the viral video. They opted for the wooden stool, kitchen stool, just to make people laugh as a joke. The kitchen stool started trending on social media, particularly on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp after a leak sex tape involving a headmaster and alleged female student seen kneeling on a kitchen stool while the headmaster bounced from behind, and that is why it started trending. So it is never true.
Of Ghana's Independence Day, the late Theodosia Oko's greatest achievement in life was perhaps designing the national flag. When Ghana's flag replaced the Union Jack on March 6, 1957, Ghanaians beamed with a sense of patriotism. Today marks the flag draping campaign, and the news team has been finding out what it means to adorn oneself with the colors of the national flag.
A flag is the soul of every country. Sure. You can't stand without a flag. Otherwise, people will not notice that this is this country or the other.
60 years on, the colors red, gold, green and the black stars still fly on.
As Ghana marks its 60th anniversary, there is the need to invoke the spirit of patriotism among citizens.
But with all the energy utilized in displaying the national flag, do these performers understand the meaning of the colors on the national flag?
With all humility, I can say about the red, because it has been a long time I learned that thing. So the red is about the blood that flows for us. I love the red, so I'm okay with the red.
What about the yellow, green and the black?
The yellow is our gold, the prosperous grace that God gave to us. And the green is talking about money, money.
Okay, what do you also have to say about the colors?
I don't know.
Some school children came to the rescue.
The red stands for the blood of our forefathers. The yellow stands for the mineral resources of Ghana. The green stands for the green vegetation of our land. And the black stands for the hope of Africa.
The national flag was draped on some buildings in Accra and also along some principal streets. Corporate bodies and organizations were not left out of the campaign. Some ministries, departments and agencies, including Health, Controller and Accountant General's Department and the Office of the Civil Service, had flags hoisted. However, as at the time of our visit, the Ministries of Employment, Agriculture, Justice and Attorney General, and Town and Country Planning Departments had no flags hoisted. In the run-up to the 2016 elections, the colors and flags of most political parties filled up almost every available space. As Ghana marks its 60th anniversary, it is expected that the same enthusiasm used in supporting political parties will be used to rally around the flag to promote the spirit of patriotism among citizens.
I feel it is important for me to put on my colors. I put on the Ghana 50 because we are ending the 50 years, soon to enter into 60 years. And next week, you will see me in the 60 years cloth.
We have seen a lot of developments. We have peace, and we are enjoying the peace in Ghana.
You see school kids also going to school, holding the national flag and all that. This is one thing that we are very proud as a National Planning Committee, and so we earmark this particular activity as one of our flagship program in this anniversary year.
Perhaps it's time to begin a campaign to have the flag of Ghana hoisted in every home. Let's name it.
I have heard that there are different meanings for color in Ghanaian flag. Would you like to explain the color culture in Ghanaian flag?
Ghana flag has a symbolic meaning. The red color of the flag represents the blood of our ancestors who died in the struggle for independence. The gold represents the mineral wealth of the country. The green symbolizes the country's rich forests and natural wealth. And the black star represents Africans' emancipation from slavery. Thank you.
What the heck is this? So I happened to come across these drums and oh my god, I was so shocked. I have never seen drums like this with my very eyes. Like, I've seen some of them on TV, but to see them in reality, this is my first time, and I love the details on these drums. You could see the sign, the sword sign, which was carved on it. So this is the Sika Phantom form by James Echampong, which was made in 1992, and then this is the one next to it. This is short, as you can see, and it is called a tumpan, and the tumpan is also made by the same person in 1992. You know how old this thing is and still looks like this, which means that it was made very, very well. And then the next one is also on a tumpan. So that one was male and this is female. I can't tell how they are able to determine whether this is male or female. I don't know. Maybe the artisan is the only one who can tell, but this is also a tumpan female in 1992. And you could see this, the traditional symbols around it. They are cant symbols. These drums are cant drums. So. And this is the frontal from female. I don't know the difference between the female and the male. Maybe the sound. Who knows? Maybe the sound tells. But I don't know how someone can actually drum on this, because it's so like tall, like very tall. I could literally feel short standing by this drum. So this is the Sika Phantom from female by James Echampong 1992, which was made in Kumasi. And look at the Sankofa sign, or I say Sankofa symbol on the drum. Very detailed. You could see the work is neat. Honestly, I'm not an artisan, but you could see how neat the work is. And then oh my god, this is so beautiful to see. I have never seen this before, and I just thought I should share it here on social media. So these are Ghanaian drums made in Ghana. Yes, and these are signs or symbols of our culture. So
Ghanaians will hold drum contest on big festival. What is the meaning of the drum contest in Ghana? What kind of festival will hold drum contest? What kind of drums is usually used on big festival? Will different festival use different drums?
The Ghanaian drum, or the giant drum, there are so many Ghanaian drums used by an ensemble of Ghanaian people to communicate monarchy, royal messages to people in various ethnic settings. The giant Ghanaian have names such as Phantom from Tumpani and others, which provide music for ceremonies honoring chiefs and monarchy royal processions. The Ghanaian drums are also used to recite proverbs or replicate patterns of speech at monarchy regarding royal gatherings. Most of significant in Ghanaian culture, most festivals celebrated across the nation uses its own drum to communicate to the gods, entertain the people by dancing, to make festival attractive to the youth, visitors, natives, leaders and organizers of the festivals. Festival organizes drumming contest, dancing contest, singing contest, and other cultural display to exhibit their rich culture and its purpose of celebration, and to make people actively involved by competing for the ultimate world prize. It has been a party from the youth. Thank you. There are so many kinds of drums used on big festivals. Some of the names are Fonton Frog, Etumpai, Dondo, Benta, Pintin, the talking drum, the Gonjan, and Pintiman, Palogo, Ashiko, Ewe drums, and Pitia.
Upper West, where the Regional Police Command has destroyed a local gun manufacturing shop at Charia, a village near Wa, the police also seized 36 single-barrel guns from the house of the manufacturer, Mr. Bartholomew Dayenche, who is currently on the run.
At a media briefing at Wa, the Deputy Regional Police Commander, ACP Peter Indegukri Anabugri, said the police at Lohobaria arrested the suspect Nyame Borokiama, aged 61, with a locally manufactured single-barrel shotgun. Upon interrogation, he mentioned Michael Sankora, his grandson, as the one who gave it to him for trial. When Michael was arrested, he told the police that he bought the gun from a suspect, Bartholomew, who is now at large. When the police led Mr. Sankora to the suspected seller's house, they retrieved 36 single-barrel guns, 1 Mark IV gun, 1 double-barrel shotgun, 2 locally manufactured pistols, 1 foreign pistol, and 12 bats. The police destroyed the gun manufacturing shop and arrested the wife of the suspected manufacturer, Bartholomew. Police investigations revealed that the suspect has been manufacturing guns for criminals to operate.
Security is a shared responsibility. It is not the only duty of the police to be able to arrest criminals. Police cannot arrest criminals without the assistance of the public. So my appeal is that the general public should volunteer information to the public, no matter how small it is. There is no information which is small. It was 1 gun we arrested. It has culminated in the arrest of 36 guns, 1 police gun, and a foreign pistol. So you can imagine.
ACP Indekugri appealed to the public to voluntarily give out information to the police to enable them to arrest people engaged in criminal activities.
Are Ghanaians allowed to use gun? When will Ghanaians to use gun? Will father give son his first gun in boy's coming-of-age ceremony?
A Ghanaian can use a gun if the person is 18 years and above, mentally sound, physically fit, and of good character, can apply for a firearm for use either to protect him or herself or for gaming. Apart from the security service and the hunters that use gun often, it is uncommon to see a Ghanaian with gun. It isn't our culture, and anyone seen with a gun is pictured otherwise as a robber or a criminal, if not part of the security service. It is never done in any culture in Ghana where a father will give his son a first gun because he is coming of age. It raises questions about that individual.
I decided to add the choreography to it. So if the client comes to our premises, we just ask the client, do you want it solemn or do you want a bit displayed? Or maybe you want a small choreography on it. They just ask and then we do it.
delivered one to the final resting place, they also dance. So I decided to give my mother a dancing trip to her maker.
Ghanaian funerals are viewed with muscle men carry coffins and dancing. Is that true? What do you think of the Ghanaian funerals culture? There are many different shapes for Ghanaian coffins. What do you think of the Ghanaian coffin culture?
Yeah, it is very true. A small group of people started with pallbearers service as a business and later added a calligraphy to their pallbearing work and charges whoever comes to them for their services. But it's never done in anywhere. It depends on the individual family either to go for them and pay or not. So it is their way of making money. Funeral customs are an essential part of paying the last respects to the departed in Ghana, but each culture also emphasizes different aspects of funeral ceremony and conduct death rites in their own way. Personally, I think Ghanaians spend a lot of money on funeral customs, which to me is a waste of money. In Ghanaian cultural system, the dead is also a way of transitioning into other world. The dead is kept to bring people together, and these people come both within and outside the family. They come together to mourn and say farewell to their dead friend or relative. Ghanaian coffin culture are not only coffins but considered rare works of art and often symbolize the dead people's profession. And coffin shape also evoke proverbs.
This is the end of our talking about Ghanaian culture or custom. Welcome to email us and tell us which culture or custom would you like to verify. Thanks for the audience. Bye. See you next time.